سلام من سیڤان کامەران قوتابی زانکۆی گەشەپێدانی مرۆییم ئەمڕۆ لە دەرسی ماشینێرینە باسی ڕاندۆم فۆرست و کەینێنی لۆجستیک ریگرێشنەکەم ئاوتلاینەکانمان ڕاندۆم فۆرست چییە چۆنێتی ئیشکردنی ڕاندۆم فۆرستە لەگەڵ باشی و خراپەکانی ڕاندۆم فۆرست و لەگەڵ کەینێن چییە لەگەڵ چۆنێتی ئیشکردنی کێن و لەگەڵ باشی و خراپەکانی کێن و لەگەڵ لۆجستیک ریگرێشن و لەگەڵ چۆنێتی ئیشکردنەکەی باشی و خراپەکانی کۆنکلوژنمان هەیە. What is random forest? Random forest is a supervised machine learning algorithm that is used widely in a classification and regression problem. It builds decision trees on different samples and takes their majority weight for classification and average in case of regression. Random forest supervised machine learning بەکارێ لە classification و لەگەڵ regression problem هەروەها چەند پرۆبلەمەکانی random forest دەکرێت بە چەند decision treeەکەوە بۆ سامپڵی جیاواز. One of the most important features of the random forest algorithm is that can handle the data set contain continuous value. As in the case of regression and categorical variable, as in the case of classification, it performs better results for classification problem. Working of a random forest algorithm. We can understand the working of a random forest algorithm with the help of the following step. Step 1. First, start with the selection of random sample from a given dataset. يعني بشكل random forest sample لك select كين dataset. Step 2. Next, this algorithm will construct a decision tree for every sample. همو sample كان نكرين دا decision tree. Then it will give the prediction result from every decision tree. هم پیش بینی کن decision tree کانو یکی ورگیره. Step 3. In this step, voting will be performed for every predicted result. پیش بینی کن که کراوا voting داره یعنی وبشانی که داری کراون. Step 4. At last, select the most voted prediction result as the final prediction result. لا بشي step 4 أنا بشي أخيرا selecti أو vote أكله كزورترين vote بترا يعني أو بشر بيجبيني ورقيري كزورترين بيجبيني بكرا يعني. Difference between decision tree and random forest. Decision trees normally suffer from the problem of overfitting if it is allowed to grow without any control. A single decision tree is faster in computation when a data set with future is taken as input by decision tree to formulate some set of rules to do prediction. Random forests are created from subsets of data, and the final output is based on average or majority ranking, and hence the problem of overfitting is taken care of. It is slower. Random forest randomly selected observations builds a decision tree, and the average result is taken. It doesn't use any set of formulas. Pros of random forest. Random forest work well for a large range of the data item that a single decision tree does. Random forest has less variance than single decision tree. Random forests are very flexible and possess very high accuracy. Random forest algorithm maintain good accuracy. Even a large proportion of the data is missing. Cause of the random forest. Construction of the random forest are much harder and time consuming than decision tree. More computational resources are required to implement random forest algorithm. It is less intuitive in case when we have a large collection of decision tree. The prediction process using random forest is very time consuming in the in comparison with other algorithm. What is KNN? Pioneer's neighbors algorithm, or KNN, is one of the most used learning algorithm due to its simplicity. KNN is a lazy or slow learning non-parametric algorithm. It uses data with several classes to predict the classification of a new sample point. KNN is non-parameters since it doesn't make any assumption on the data being studied. Lera KN من هم بون من لera ام خشتي من هم لera داتاكي تازه هاتوا ام داتا تازه لكاميان لاو نزيك بيت أبيت بوينتي تازه كاتيجوري كان يا كاتيجوري A يا كاتيجوري B ونزيكا. Working of KNN algorithm in machine. Step here come when implementing an algorithm, you will always need a data set. So you start by loading the training and test data. Choose the nearest data point. The value of k can be any integer. Do the following for each test data. Use Euclidean distance, Hamming, or Manhattan to calculate the distance between test data. And each row of training the Euclidean method is the most used when calculating distance. Sort data set in ascending order based on the distance value. From the sorted array, choose the top key rows. Based on the most appearing class of these rows, it will assign a class to the test point. The end. أما شنتي بس كرني يعني select كرني أو يكتشني data لكاتيجوري A B لكاتيجوري B. Advantage of KNN: quick calculation time, simple algorithm to interpret, versatile, useful for regression and classification, high accuracy. You don't need a compare with better supervised learning models. No assumption about data. No need to make additional assumption to several parameter or build model. This makes circular crucial in nonlinear data case. Disadvantage of KNN: accuracy depends on the quality of data. With the large data, the prediction stage might be slow, sensitive to the scale of the data, and irrelevant future. Require high memory, need to store all of the training data, given that storage all of the training, it can be computationally expensive. What is logistic regression? The logistic regression static modeling technique is used when we have a binary outcome variable. For example, given a parameters, will the student pass or fail? Will it rain or not? So thought we may have continuous or categorical independent variables. We can use the logistic regression modeling technique to predict the outcome when the outcome variable is binary. Logistic regression predict categorical outcome variable linear regression model line highly susceptible to outlier, so it will not be a property for logistic regression. Logistic regression پیشبینیه. بۆ نمونە ئەمڕۆ بارانە بارێ یان نابارێت دەرەچێ یا دەرناچێ یانی ئاینە. What is logistic regression? Below the function for logistic regression and function man here we بەکارهێنانی logistic regression e log base x is the numerical value that needs to be transformed. If we need an output value to the sigmoid function, it will return the probability of the outcome between 0 and 1. If the value below 0.5, then the output is returned as no failed decisive. Above example, if the value is above 0.5, then the output is returned as yes passes decisive. يعني ده بس من أويا أبيش من يعني كأكيد كأوتبوت outcome كمان تو 0 صفر. أقدر ل 0.5 كونتر بي أو النوع يعني نية فلان لك 0.5 زيادة بي كمان يسا. Pros and cons of logistic regression. Logistic regression is easier to implement, interpret, and very efficient to train. It makes no assumption about distribution of classes in future space. It is very fast at classifying unknown records, good accuracy for many simple data set, and it performs well when the data set is linearly separable. If the number of observation is lesser than the number of future logistic regression should not be used, otherwise it may lead to overfitting. It constructed linear boundaries. Non-linear problems can be solved with logistic regression because it has linear decision surface linearity separable data is rarely found in real-world scenarios. Logistic regression requires average or no multicollinearity between independent variables. Vamos concluir na comando. Is your space.